this the Rolls-Royce of the boating world? It's the brand new Solaris 60 Coupé, and it offers year-round boating with Solaris's inimitable style. With 2,000 horsepower, it will apparently do 35 knots, and not just when it's calm and sunny. It'll do it in January in Norway if you want it to. So is this the best of both worlds, or form and function in disharmony? Let's find out in this full review. I'm Jack Haines, you're watching YachtBuyer. Now down here at the waterline, all very familiar to the Open 60. See, it shares its underpinning, so you have a hydraulic bathing platform that connects to a tender garage. That's big enough for a 3-metre tender, and there's space for some other toys in there as well. And a moment for the hull colour. In the sunlight here, these curves are really picked up. It just looks gorgeous. Over on this side, passerelle. Also, you need that in a stern to mooring to help you on and off the quayside. It's lovely, and it continues up in the cockpit. Here's a nice little detail. You can cover up the mooring gear. So when it's in use, it's really easy to get to. But then when you're not using it, put this down and you have this lovely sleek line all the way down to the waterline. It's lovely. And what is a little bit strange though, is the open version of this boat is available with drop-down balconies, but you can't have it on the Coupé version. And this is where you'd really feel the benefit. It's less open than the Open for obvious reasons. So having that extra space down here, to me, makes more sense than on the Open. But there you go. On with the rest of the cockpit. Lovely big table here. We're going to see a lot of this teak, and I think it's really nice. You know, boaty. We're on a boat after all, so that's how it should feel. Nice amount of shade as well, not only from this fixed overhang, but you've got this sunshade that extends to really give plenty of protection to this dining area in the heat of the day. That backrest there will pull this way to extend the sunpad, so if you want to sunbathe, you've got a little bit more space. Now the galley's right there, so you haven't got much in the way of facilities out here, but the main galley's pretty close. Under this lid, yeah, these lids, there's a few of these on board, and they are lovely, but I don't know what you're supposed to do with them while you're using the thing underneath. It's a little bit annoying, but there is a sink there, which is pretty useful. And then underneath this one, there's a repeater for the IPS joystick, so you are in a really good position to spot the pontoon if you're coming in stern to in the Med. Right, before we have a look at the saloon, let's go up front. They do produce some gorgeous shapes on this boat, not just the hull sides, but look at this here. It's similar to the T-top on the Open version, but looking at this from behind, it's just lovely. The design is gorgeous throughout. And heading up front, part of that design is obviously, it's very clean. There's no railings here, so you have to use your fender sockets. Nice big cleats and midships all pop up as well, so there is nothing to disrupt the lines when you're not doing the crewing on board the 60 Coupé. Right forward, we have some more sunbathing space. Pretty flexible space as well. All three of these pop up and pop down. You have them completely flat. You've still got a headrest underneath the windscreen, even if they're completely flat. So that's a nice space. You can see this is where we get the impression of that wheelhouse, a single piece windscreen. Lovely. And right forward, the bench here. These are nice places to sit. Coming into a marina like this, you want to sit here to take in the action. Not great when you're at high speed, but yeah, a lovely place to sit and drift along at displacement speeds. Right forward, this is where you're doing your anchoring and you're crewing right forward. Again, you've got the pop-up cleats again, pop-up lights too. So you've got a little bit of ambient light of an evening, cup holders as well. And these are steps, but also they act quite well as benches, so people can sit opposite and just take a perch. And then right forward, we have the anchor locker. Concealed anchor at the front, really nice deep locker there. And they've also got some bars. So if you tie off your lines, you're not going to lose them right in the bottom of the anchor locker. It's lovely and stylish, but it's practical too. Let's head inside. Let's start with the familiar before we come on to something a little more unusual in this area. The galley connects very nicely to that cockpit because you have this window that pops up to the ceiling. Obviously, sliding door over here, you can fully enclose it. That's the main difference between this and the Open version. Turning back to the galley itself, well, it's got an enormous one of these big heavy lids that, again, day to day, if you're using this, you're going to find it annoying finding somewhere to put it, especially that one because it's huge. But it does reveal a very large sink, which is really nicely finished. You have got a fridge down here, storage underneath, and then space for a dishwasher as well. Obviously, induction cooking over here. Let me pop this back down because here's a nice little surprise for us. Of course, it has a very elaborate, dedicated space for the espresso machine. The only thing it's missing is the Italian national anthem playing as this comes up. Of course, you don't have to use it as a coffee machine holder. You can put other stuff in there, but how about that? Pretty does look the business, doesn't it? They've even managed to add a wine fridge in this return. Very nice indeed. To starboard, that unique feature, a day head. Not something you expect to see on a 60-footer, and actually it's the first time Solaris has done it. It was a specific request from the owner of this boat, and they could do it. It's quite impressive, really. Shows the amount of customization. Will not be for everybody. If you don't have that, you just get a little bit more counter and some more cooling space, which is good, because in this, guys, you don't have a fridge underneath there. Moving forward, we're up a step, and we come into the saloon. There is another fridge down there underneath this sofa, so you've got a little bit more cooling space, but this is a nice spot. Lovely, comfortable internal dinette. Drop down windows, so you can get some breeze running through here, as well as the sunroof, which may not be very good for ventilating over the helm, but it's great for drawing light down into the central area. That opens up as well, of course. And then you can fold the table to reveal some very sharp corners, but also cup holders. Nice if you're just using it for drinks, but then if you are eating in here, there you go. That's a decent size. Opposite, a little couple sofa, and the TV pops up from behind there too. And the helm is relatively familiar because you have digital switching. This is all Solaris skin, so you have all of the boat's functions inside the MFD there. Makes it really clear and easy to switch between your systems. Have the camera feed up here. There is a camera at the back of the boat when you're out at sea, but you can also switch the engine room to at least check by eye that everything is okay inside the engine room. And they've got an induction charger for a phone here too, so you can charge your phone while you're on the go. Right, shall we have a look downstairs at the cabins? The lower deck arrangement is actually really flexible on this model, and if you want to see all of the different layouts available, read my review on yachtbuyer.com. You can read the review, look at photos, and see all the layouts side by side to see which one you might like best. This particular boat is a 3-cabin layout. You've got a double forward with an ensuite. The owner's cabin is a midships, also ensuite. There's a guest cabin as well here on the port side, and I really like what they've done with this. Rather than having bunks, because this is probably only going to be used occasionally, you've still got somewhere to sleep, but you've also got a study, a desk, a bureau, somewhere you can do some work in a world where people, work remotely. Even on a boat this size, nice that you can be on your boat, but still have somewhere quiet, cool, comfortable that you can fire off a few emails. There's a TV up here as well, which pops out to face the bed. Storage is decent. It's a nice big wardrobe here, and it's got its own bathroom tucked in there. So, perfectly luxurious, but not quite as nice as the VIP, which is right forward. I'm actually going to start in the bathroom, because this is a nice space. The teak down here is lovely. Quite traditional, but it feels warm and homely, comfortable. Not too modern. Plenty of tradition here, but mixed with things like the shower, which is finished to a slightly different standard. And there are some funny little quirks in here. I mean, the space is okay. Rain shower head is nice, but the control being right down at shin level is a little bit odd. And if you're thinking, where have they fitted the washing machine? Well, maybe you wouldn't have guessed in here. Washer dryer tucked away within the shower. It's got to go somewhere, I suppose. The cabin itself, this is nice actually. You've got plenty of headroom in here. It's a bit restricted over the bed, unfortunately, but you can probably just about sit up and watch the TV, which is mounted up on this wall. Lovely teak surround on that as well. Storage is decent on both sides, plus a nice big drawer underneath the berth, so if the guests are on here for a while, they've got plenty of spaces to store their stuff. And there's a skylight as well. Good for natural light. It's pretty good with these whole windows, but nice to have that. Great for some ventilation, and it's obviously your escape route as well. And then midships, we find the owner's cabin. On the passageway on the way in, we find the bathroom. Private, of course, so nice to have 3 cabins, 3 bathrooms, plus that day head on this boat up top there. Again, this is typically nicely fitted out. Big sink, separate shower cubicle, toilets tucked down there as well. Nice big mirror as well. And as we come down this passageway, which is a little bit narrow, it really opens up to take in the full beam of the boat. Generally feels very solid down here in the interior, but there is the odd squeaky panel underfoot which just takes the edge off a little bit. But this is a really nice space. Headroom a bit restricted when you come down here, but to be honest, you're probably going to be climbing into bed anyway. When you're down here getting changed, it's perfectly good, and that'll be easy because you've got big wardrobes on either side. The television is mounted over on that side in this cabin. More storage running underneath that bureau over there, and a little sofa as well, so you can take the weight off. There are some nice places that you can get away from it down here. The study, the owner's cabin is very peaceful. Obviously the engine room is just through there, but it's a solid, well-engineered boat. I would say sound levels are pretty contained down here as well as they are up in the saloon. It's a nice space, and there's some lovely detail as well. I like the bed head, I like the size of the bed, nice and large, and these reading lights are quite nice. Not seen those before. rather stylish. And of course, you've got repeaters for the whole cabin lighting down here and some chargers so you can charge your devices next to your bed.
The guest accommodation design is impressively flexible, and with two of the layouts there remains space for a crew cabin. So before we get the boat out on the water to see how it drives, let's take a look in there. In my opinion, it's 27,000 euros that you could save and spend elsewhere, but let me know what you think in the comments.
Access to the crew cabin is via this hatch here in the saloon. When we tested the 60 Open last year, it got some stick in the comments for its crew cabin, and well, it's not much better on the Coupé version. In fact, it's exactly the same, apart from they've added possibly the most painful ladder ever to have been created. Honestly, the Victorians would be using that as a torture device. And once you're down here, things don't improve. It's the same. You have the bed that pops out from here, bit of storage underneath, barely standing headroom if you're 6 feet, a sink, and a wet room. It's not a great space, quite obviously, but I will point out, so few people will actually use this for crew. This is an owner-run boat. They like to say they can offer crew for some territories who think they'll want it, but generally I don't imagine anybody is using this for crew. It's more going to be used as a big storage void, which is quite good for. Let's go up to speed and see what she can do. If you enjoy watching sea trials, well, now will be a good time to subscribe to YachtBuyer. Hit subscribe, hit that bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. So there are a couple of engine options with this boat. This has got the biggest ones, IPS 1350, so that's 1,000 horsepower per side. I don't imagine many people will be going for the smaller option. And where are we now? 20 knots already, 1800 RPM. Already sensing how quiet it is. This is of course based on the Open version, which we've already got a sea trial of. Exactly the same engineering, just this has the wheelhouse, that doesn't. Same engine options. That is a very refined boat. Add in the wheelhouse and suddenly this becomes a very comfortable cruiser. I mean, I've literally been at the helm for a couple of minutes and it is remarkably quiet. As it should be. It's IPS, it's a wheelhouse, but it's not always the case. And it's cutting through what is, you know, a reasonable little swell here. Very nicely indeed. Now these boats, even the smaller Solarises, have a lovely broad bow, so you feel like you've got a very commanding driving position. You don't have any issues that you feel like you're going to stuff the bow or anything like that. It does feel like it's a capable long distance cruiser, and that's now 26 knots. They say you can do about 350 nautical miles at a 30 knot cruising speed, which is really good going, to be honest. You know, for 30 knots, that kind of range is really impressive. But of course the main difference between this and the Open one is if you really want to cover long distances, you have the protection, you have the peace and quiet, and it feels absolutely lovely. IPS boat, so you still have IPS handling of course, so it's nice and light. We're just romping through the swell here. It feels great. And this is when the IPS agility is good. When you have waves like this, it's nice to be able to negotiate them so comfortably, and IPS does allow you to do that. Driving position, well, very good in this bolster position. You know, it is a bit lumpy, so I do feel like I want to stand up. A lot of the manufacturers use this seat. Pardo use the same one. It's not so comfortable to sit in, but it does feel very nice to stand in and gives you plenty of support. The view is good. This mullion's pretty thick. A single piece windscreen means you've got nothing in the middle. The side door as well, you can't really open it to ventilate on the move. There is a window over there. A sunroof overhead, but it's behind the helm station, so you're not going to get much ventilation when you're going along. So it could get a little toasty in here, but it really does cover the yard so effortlessly. I use that slightly crude reference about it being a Rolls Royce. I called the Open one a Bentley. I just can't help myself, but it has that feeling, you know, it's effortless, it's wafty, and it looks bloody good while it's doing it. It feels special. You sort of are aware that you're driving something really cool, head turning, especially in this colour scheme. I think it looks great. The dash layout, really pretty good. You know, you've got 3 screens, so you've got plenty of information at your disposal. You know, some of these are a little bit flat and a long reach if you're sitting down, but standing like this, they feel absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm a happy boy up here. But that's the driving experience. Should we get back inside and pop our heads in the engine room, see what's going on down there? Engine room access is through this hatch here in the cockpit. Right, into the engine room, you drop down the ladder. The headroom in this section is pretty good, right close to the fuel tanks, which have got twin filters, so you can switch across if you have issues with one. Clear bowls too, so you can check the quality of the fuel. This is the space where the Seakeeper or the gyroscope would go if you do spec one. Obviously this boat hasn't got it, and though headroom is pretty restricted when you get down to the engines, it does drop down into the bilge, so I can clamber down between them reasonably comfortably. You won't want to spend too much time chunking with them down here, but it's fine. And you can easily see the raw water strainers. You can get to the pods relatively easily as well. The generator is on the port side. It has got solar panels as an option, helping to top up the domestic battery. But if you've really got some heavy load going, you'll be relying on that, and it's easy enough to get to. So despite having this quite big intrusion, which is really nicely insulated, hence why it's so quiet, it's not too bad down here. In a world of increasingly sharper angles and more slab-sided styling, this thing stands out in all the best ways. Obviously it helps they've based it on a really successful film with a beautiful 60 open, but adding the wheelhouse just adds this boat's appeal to me. It means you can go year-round boating, but still have something that looks as good as this. What do you think? If you were in the market, would you go for this one or the open version? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching that sea trial. I hope you enjoyed it. Give us a like and why not subscribe if you did. And if you enjoyed this one, you may as well go and watch my sea trial of the open version to see which one you prefer. I'll put that for you up there. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.